The king sat in Dunfermline town, drinking of the blood-red wine. Where can I get a steely skipper to sail this mighty boat of mine? Well, that's the next stage, in my opinion. Sailing out to the unknown by the plebeians, such as myself, and probably everybody watching, because it's a fact that we don't know what's on the earth. We know some of it, but we certainly don't know all of it. We're led to believe that the North Pole is a sheet of ice in the winter and melted, and it's just seawater in the summer because of, dare I say it, global warming, which is total bullshit. For one, the word global is just like some kind of virus, or if it's in your mind, global, and you picture the Earth like a spinning ball in the vacuum of space, you're an idiot, because it's not that. But I'm a bit harsh maybe saying you're an idiot to think that. In many ways you are, but I understand that the programming is severe and deep, and it gets a hold on you. Because even as a person who absolutely, a man who absolutely knows that the spinning ball is a cartoon, total nonsense, unscientific, nature would never allow such a preposterous model to exist, or reality, should I say, to exist. Well, it can't be modelled, therefore it cannot be reality. Simple, very simple. Yeah, even though I know that's bullshit, I still, well, I can conjure that, or in a moment of, when I've relapsed in, but I never relapse back into the thinking it's a globe, because I just, that is impossible. So there's no chance that I'll ever do that. But I understand if you still do, even if you still think it's a ball. I don't really understand that, because there's so many proofs to the contrary. But I understand that you have a mental image of that bullshit in you, that you can conjure. I understand that. So, because we don't know what's out there, we ought to go and find out. And I hope it doesn't end up like that song Sir Patrick Spens. 40 mile from Aberdeen, the water's 50 fathoms deep, and there lies good Sir Patrick Spens with the Scots Lords at his feet. That's the last verse of the song, and of course it's sunken disaster. No, we need to, if we can't get the military to do this, and why should we trust anybody apart from ourselves, then it's up to us to do it. So what we need is a very wealthy person who knows the Earth's not a spinning ball, and there will be many of them out there, because I think that once you reach a certain level of, well, look at Elon Musk, or anybody who's, what's his name, Richard Branson, those type of people. They know they're not living on a spinning ball. Come on, they've got the money to be able to finance real exploration. But would you trust those arseholes? Of course not. So it's up to the likes of me, I suppose. Now, I'm not a very good sailor, Don't get seasick, but I would say the bigger the vessel, the better, because it's a long way, and we need to take a vast quantity of supplies and a crew who know what they're doing, i.e. sailors. I'm not a sailor. I'm certainly a landlubber, and that's okay, but I would be prepared to go on such a journey if I had confidence and faith in the vessel or the vessels, because there shouldn't just be one. And of course our history is littered with failed attempts to find the North Passage, you know, the route to the Americas over the top of the ball, which is bollocks. Well, I'm saying it's bollocks. I'm saying the ball's bollocks, obviously. I'm not sure about the failed explorers, but I was listening to Dread, and really interesting point about there were always explorers before the fake astronauts, or the actonauts, or astronauts. There are always explorers financed by the crown, and they would go out and seek new lands, or like I say, the passages to new or to known lands, but different routes. And they usually ended up with well, stories would come back to put the average person off doing anything like that. Usually ends up with people eating each other, or getting some horrific diseases or frostbite. That cousin of the Queen, you know, with his a few fingers on this hand and a few less on this, you know, that he's just obviously doing what they say. He's probably a criminal. Well, he is a criminal, in my opinion, for lying, but he was supposedly going to the South Pole, and equally horrific kind of stories would come back from him. Well, maybe not equally, but real bad tales of disaster. And that's there just to put us off. And of course, you know, Scott of the Antarctic having to eat his did he eat the dogs, I think. All these terrible things that, in my opinion, never happened, but they were there to scare us away from going to find out for ourselves, because you would need an incredible amount of money to be able to have the equipment to go that far across the icy wastelands. And of course, don't eat the yellow snow, but you know that. So then, of course, it turned to space, where when everything was supposedly mapped and measured at the poles, which don't exist. Well, the South Pole doesn't exist. Then it was the vacuum of space, where nobody can go apart from one institution, NASA, and they have, pretty much have the monopoly on space exploration. We think there are other people involved, other countries involved even, but they all take their cue from NASA, without a doubt. So we the illusion that they're trying to create is us being trapped on a spinning ball in the vacuum of outer space, traveling at a couple of million miles an hour, and so we are insignificant. We are an accident of nature. There's no way there is anything like that, of course. We're living in a construct. We are created. We are humans. We've never been anything else. Evolution is nonsense. Just because there are certain wandering stars aligning at certain times, and just in the near past, I did actually just from my own curiosity look into what they're saying about Nibiru, because I thought, oh, they'll be getting excited right about now because of these the wandering stars and the proximities and all that. And of course, it's the same old people telling the same bullshit. And I just, if somebody tells you something's going to happen and it doesn't happen, you'd probably think, well, they may have made a mistake. But once they've told you twice and 3 times and 4 times, why should you trust them? Why would you think they've got any information that's valid at all? Yet the same people are telling the same stories, and there are so many people into this, but every one of them are wrong if they believe it, because there is no such thing as the vacuum of space, the way NASA portrays it anyway. There may be an area up there that is inaccessible, or certainly different from where we live on Earth, but it's not full of space balls all spinning around because of gravity, because it's all total bullshit. So what I'd like to happen, of course I can't finance, is I've got nothing. I've got, money-wise, I have nothing. I have a tiny limited income, and it barely provides for me, but I get by, and I just get by. You can see the way I'm lavishly attired, and my palatial residence. You can tell how well I'm doing, but that doesn't bother me. I'm not into it. I don't want lots of money. So, I don't want a palace. I don't want fine garments with gold woven into them. Fuck's sake. Just as long as I'm not starving, I'm warm enough, and I'm not getting rained on, that will do. So what I'm saying is I cannot finance the exploration, but maybe we could charter a boat if we all got together. Well, a lot of us got together and did that. Charter the boat with a few boats that wouldn't mind the kind of conditions that would have to be sailed in or through. I understand that if you go the further north you go, the ice, because it's below zero, the ice clings to anything outside on the boat, and therefore you can actually weight becomes a problem, because the weight of ice starts to lower your you might go even below your plimsoll line, and you could even sink. You could capsize. You could, of course, all that. A decent crew would know that, and they'd know what to do and all that. So we need that kind of experience of people. It's not. I'm not proposing this so we know for sure that we don't live on a ball. I know for sure that we don't live on a ball already, and the vast majority of people in my position, I would think, know 100% that we don't live on a ball. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that it could ever exist. No, the reason we need to go is because we don't know where we live. We don't know what it's all about, and that's what we'd like to know. That would go in some way to finding that out. The question that you must have asked yourself many times since you were you understood that you became self-aware. I wonder what, and some people explain it by various religions, and the ball is just one of them. Their explanation is something like lightning striking a muddy puddle, and lo and behold, here I am. Utter nonsense, obviously. So I'm not saying, right, send me a postcard, or if you've got a ship, let's go, because it needs a great deal of organisation. And I'm probably not the man to do it, but I would like to be involved. I could certainly, be an assistance to somebody. I live near the sea. I don't know what that's got to do with it, but I know people with boats, but they're too small to go where I'd like to go, or where we'd have to go to discover what's up there. And I'm proposing, go north, see what's up there. Maybe next spring. Flying is another possibility, flying over it. But I think it would be better on a boat somehow. Anyway, I better go, because you don't want to hear me rambling on for very much longer, I wouldn't think. So, see you all sometime soon.